Hello and welcome back to Polar Accent Maker, your professional accent coach. Today I will talk about a relatively controversial topic that might make some of you surprised, irritated, or maybe even relieved. I will present you a few legitimate reasons why going abroad or going to the English-speaking country won't make you have a great English accent. I know that some of you might feel disappointed or even cheated. Some of you might find it unfair. Some of you might be boycotting it. However, there are some people who will be happy and satisfied. However, I truly believe that you can't fight these arguments, so please stay with me and enjoy the film. So, why you won't get a great English accent by going or even immigrating to an English-speaking country? Because your perception won't miraculously change. When still in the motherland and trying to learn a nice English accent, many people say that they can't hear the variety of the English sounds. They can't discern all of these differences between accents. They can't produce these sounds and differences either. However, they expect that whenever they go abroad, everything will simply change by itself. Not only will it change, but also it will become much easier. Before, when they used to learn the English pronunciation accent, it used to be very difficult. But from now on, when they're abroad, they will become way easier. No, not at all. I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but it doesn't work this way. If you don't have a natural skill to be able to hear the variety of English sounds, as some people naturally do, then without somebody prompting you and showing you what you should pay attention to, it probably won't happen by itself. If when still being in your country, you couldn't hear the difference between think and think, then just changing the environment of hearing the very same thing won't help you much. Not when it comes to pronunciation and accent. You need to change your perspective by regular work, training and feedback, not only by changing your place of living. Number 2, the magic won't happen. People very often quite naively think that by spending some imprecise amount of time in the English-speaking country, there will finally come this day of breakthrough. That if you spend a number X of your days, weeks and months in the English-speaking country, then you will have a fair share of your linguistic struggling and mishaps. And you will be rewarded by some superpower, God or language angel, and you will be endowed with your dream accent. I'm sorry to be the harbinger of bad news, but such day will simply never come. There is no magic here. If you'd like to have your dream accent and you are an adult, you need to work for it and you need to work on it. Another argument. People around you might be immigrants speaking worse than you. You go to the UK or to the US to be more exposed to the native language, right? And then you end up in New York or Miami or London or whatnot, and then you find out that there are more immigrants and foreigners than native speakers. What's more, even if you find natives, they might not even want to socialize with you, and they might be quite closed and in their inner circles. And these are usually other foreigners that are more open and more inclined to meet other foreigners and newcomers. So of course, most probably you will make many friends, but these are going to be rather other foreigners like you, not necessarily the English native speakers. And very often it might turn out that their English isn't anyhow better than yours. Or it might be even worse, or way worse. How are you supposed to pick up the good accent then? It might be really difficult, challenging, and sometimes simply hardly doable, because your most frequent everyday interactions will most probably be with bartenders, shop assistants, waiters, or some physical workers. And these are usually immigrants who came to the English-speaking country in order to learn better English there. And unfortunately, most probably, they won't serve you as a perfect speaking model. When I'm in London and I want to order my latte with almond milk, and then I hear that the guy who takes the order says to the other one latte with almond milk, then I know right away that this person is from Poland, and I feel like saying siema ziomek, jak tam się żyje w Lądku? Simply by listening to his mistakes, I know right away that he's a Polish guy. Being exposed to the top-notch quality of English abroad, especially in the English-speaking countries, is much more challenging and difficult than you think. And most probably, it won't help you. On the contrary, it might make your English even worse. Even some of my clients told me that their English became much worse when they moved to London than when we had our accent classes in Poland. Number 4, your hearing won't affect your speaking. Okay, let's say that you've managed to find your inner circle of real English native speakers. You're not among the foreigners, you're among the native speakers. Congratulations! However, there's another trap. Very often people think that the more they listen to the English native speakers, the more they understand, and as a result, the better they can speak. So finally, their accent will gradually become better. I'm very sorry to disappoint you, but it's not so simple. Granted, when you listen a lot to the native speakers of English, you might start to understand way more. That's true. It's also true that the more you understand, the more self-confident you become. And some of your speaking inhibitions or barriers might weaken or even completely disappear. And that, again, can be true. But what is not true is that by solely feeling more self-confident, being able to speak more often, more freely, in a more self-confident way, you will not start speaking with a better accent just like this. Your understanding, so oral comprehension, becomes better, but your accent doesn't automatically become native-like. Very often it simply doesn't happen, because by speaking, you activate fluency in speaking, but not the pronunciation and accent, so the articulation and using particular muscles. You might start sounding more self-confident and more fluent, but not necessarily native-like, so pronouncing words in a way the native speakers would pronounce. Very often, people simply become better listeners. They understand more, they're able to speak more because the vocabulary is bigger. They can also feel free and self-confident when they speak, but usually their accent is as bad or as mediocre as it used to be. And very often there is simply no progress when it comes to pronunciation and accent at all. Maybe even you have noticed that yourself. And why is that? Because training only listening won't revolutionize your speaking. The fact that your oral comprehension gets better doesn't automatically mean that your accent and pronunciation gets equally better. So to put it bluntly, your ears, which are here, will influence your mouth, which is here. It's a little bit as if you expected that by training your arms, you will make your legs stronger. Of course, I simplify it a bit, but you know what I mean. You need to train this, what you want to make better. You want to have stronger arms, you exercise your arms. You want to have stronger legs, you exercise your legs. You want to become a better listener, you listen more. You want to become a better speaker, you need to speak more. You want to have a better accent and pronunciation. This is exactly what you need to train. Your accent and pronunciation, not just speaking in general, particularly pronunciation and accent. And hearing and speaking are two different separate channels. Of course, hearing can influence speaking to some tiny extent, but having a particular pronunciation and accent, it means articulating sounds in a particular way. So it requires particular, so specific training. If you don't know how to place your tongue, your lips, your teeth, your jaw, then just by listening to other native speakers will make you grasp this knowledge somehow miraculously. Solely listening won't shape your articulation skills. I'm sorry, but it doesn't work this way. Why? Because you have no feedback. And now, the most important thing. In order to speak better and have a better pronunciation accent, you need to know which mistakes you make and why. You need somebody to point at these mistakes clearly and instruct you on how to pronounce these sounds correctly. So simply speaking, you need a feedback. You need to be corrected. And let's face it, nobody will correct you there. Very often the native speakers might tell you, don't worry about your accent. You can communicate, and that's the most important thing. And your English is much better than my Polish, Spanish, Russian, what have you. But the thing is that you don't want to merely communicate. You don't want to sound like a foreigner who speaks in an average way. You want to speak like a native. You don't want to have a shitty or mediocre English. You want it to be amazing. Very often when you ask the native speakers to correct you, they simply won't do it. Because, number one, they don't give a toss about it. And number two, they don't want to sound impolite. They don't want to offend you, they don't want to bother you, or sometimes simply they don't know how to do it. So just don't count on it. And the last one, no trainings, no results. You need to have somebody or something, like a program, to point at your mistakes clearly, show you what is wrong and how to change it. And this should be done precisely. How to place your mouth, your lips, your tongue, your jaws, and how not to place it, so that you know which articulation to avoid, which one you should abandon, and which one you should adopt. It has to be a simple but efficient and precise corrective feedback, followed by your mimicking, repeating, drilling, again mimicking, again repeating, and so on. And this is exactly how we do it. This is how we do it. I know such hard work doesn't sound easy, it doesn't sound pleasant, it's not sexy, it's not cool. But this is something that can guarantee you the success. And I hope this is the only thing you want to aspire to. Success and not less. And I hope that by following this channel, listening to my recordings, watching my films, learning from my tutorials, you will achieve the success you want to have. If you like this film, please make sure that you've subscribed to my channel and you follow me on my other social media platforms. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.